Hi dancers. Today we're learning about size, small, medium, and large. So I thought we could play our old favorite game, Elves and Giants. Do you remember that game we used to play at school together? We'd turn off the lights and pretend that I came into your classroom and you were all asleep. Let's play that game now. Okay. Once upon a time, Miss Ashley came to teach the PK students in their homes. But when she got to their houses, they were all fast asleep on the floor. Can you show me your sleeping shape? Some of them were curled up on their sides. Some of them were curled up with their knees and toes touching the ground. Some were laying in big wide shapes on their backs. They all had a new creative sleep shape. Well, a funny thing happened while they were sleeping. Miss Ashley cast a magic spell on them. Abracadabra, abracashmelf. Make these sleeping dancers into tiny elves. And the elves woke up and they looked at their bodies and they were not PKers, but they were itsy bitsy teeny tiny elves. And so they tried on some small dance moves. They took some teeny tiny small steps. The steps were so small, they barely even got anywhere. And they looked behind them and tried some teeny tiny steps backwards. And then they looked side to side and decided to try some teeny tiny steps to one side and some teeny tiny steps to the other side. And then they said, let's try some teeny tiny elf jumps. So they jumped, but they were tiny little jumps. They went jump, 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 little small jumps, and freeze. And they froze in a small shape. Oh, you look so tiny. And then they found a new small shape to freeze in. And they tried one more itsy bitsy teeny tiny shape. And then they decided to try a small shaky dance. So they shook their bodies, but they only shook them a little bit. They did small shaky hands. They did small shaky heads. They did small shaky shoulders. And they tried a small shaky turn. But it was just a little shake because they were so small. And then they got tired of all that dancing, and so they fell fast asleep. And while they were sleeping, Miss Ashley came again. And she said, abracadabra, abracashmike. Turn these sleeping elves back into pre-K. And they woke up and they had their pre-K bodies back on. So now they were medium sized. So they decided to try some of those movements again. And they took a medium walk, just their normal walk. They tried it backwards, looking behind them. And they tried it sideways, side to side. They even tried walking in a circle pathway. They walked in a little circle in their house. Nice. And then they decided to try some jumps. They were kind of medium-sized PK jumps. Nice. And jumping is on 2 feet, right? 2 feet to 2 feet. And then because they were PKers and they knew how to move backwards, they looked behind them and did some medium jumps backwards. And maybe even some medium jumps side to side. And they decided to do a little shaky dance. They shook their hips. They shook their knees. They shook their feet. And then they fell fast asleep. Well, Miss Ashley had a new idea, so she came and said, abracadabra, abracashmyant. Turn these sleeping PK dancers into humongous giants. And the dancers began to grow. And they grew bigger. And they grew bigger. And when they woke up, their bodies were huge. They barely fit in their houses. And so they tried some big giant walks. that took up so much space. They were wide and long and big. They went backwards, looking behind them. They went sideways. Some of their steps even made a lot of noise because they were so big and strong. Well, then they decided to try some giant jumping, and they almost woke up the whole neighborhood. It was so loud. They did jump, big jump, so big jump. They even had big arms when they were jumping. Can you hold your arms big and do a big jump? Jump, big jump, big jump. And then they tried to do a big shaking dance and almost made an earthquake happen underneath them. They did shaking, but it was really big shakes. Huge shaking heads and shaking hands and shaking hips. Woo! And then those giants got really tired from all that big dancing and they fell fast asleep. In a big sleeping shape, of course, because they were huge giants. They were like wide and spread out all over the floor. And Miss Ashley said, oh no, this will not do. So she cast a new spell. Abracadabra, abracashmelf, turn these giants back into teeny tiny elves. And the dancers woke up and they were small again, almost like little bugs or tiny little fairies. So they decided to try hopping on one foot really small, just so tiny, and the other foot. They decided to try a tiny turn with a really small shape in their body, the smallest turn. And then they decided to try a teeny tiny gallop, one foot chasing the other, but they barely even got anywhere because they were so small. And then they went to the other side. And if they really wanted a challenge, they maybe went forward or backwards with their teeny tiny gallops. Oh, and then they fell fast asleep in a small shape. Oh, Miss Ashley came back and she said, wait a second, I missed my PK dancers. Abracadabra, abracashmike, turn these elves back into PK. Oh, phew, the elves woke up and they were back in their PK bodies. So they decided to take some regular-sized gallops around the room. Some of them went in circles. Some of them went in straight lines. They went side to side. Then they tried some regular-sized hopping on one foot and the other foot. And they tried some regular-sized turns in their PK bodies. They turned up high and they turned down low, but they were just regular size. And then they decided to lay down for a nap. Well, I bet you can guess what happened. Miss Ashley came back and she said, what in the world, what happened to all those big giants that I saw? Abracadabra, abracashmayant, turn these PK dancers back into giants. And the giants woke up, and I bet you can guess what they tried. A huge gallop that took up the whole room. Ready, go, gallop. One foot chasing the other like a chassé or a slide. And they went in many directions, side to side, all around. Even their arms were big while they galloped. Maybe they skipped even. Some of these giants even knew how to skip, really big skips. And then they decided to try some giant hops on one foot. They were slow though because the hops were so big. Huge, huge, huge hops. And then these giants made humongous shapes. And they held those big shapes and they turned them around. And they turned them again. They turned them again. And then the giants got tired. Oh, and they fell asleep in a giant shape. And Miss Ashley came back and she saw all those sleeping giants in their house and she said, you know what? I'm going to be in some trouble. If these families and caregivers come and they see their children turned into giants, I better turn them back. Abracadabra, abracashmike, turn these giants back into PK. And the PK dancers woke up in their regular sized bodies and they waved goodbye to Miss Ashley. I'll see you tomorrow, PK. Bye.